Forever champion, stamped in my soul. The pressure tried to break me, it made me whole. Even when the lights go dim, I stand who I am. What? Forever champion. I train in the shadows while they play it safe. Every setback, just surrounding my range. I don't talk rings, I talk resilience. Long and G louder than the brilliance. I kept my posture when the eyes lean. Didn't panic when the vision got foggy. I don't rush crowns, I respect the timing. Greatness cooked slow, that's the perfect climate. I've been hit, I've been tested, I've been bent. Never broke through, that's a testament. I don't compete with trends or opinions. I compete who I was, that's the opponent, you get it? Forever champion when the lows. I don't let the moment define my moves. Blood in my heart, the fire my breath. I earned this title, surviving the test. Forever champion, the strength of my soul. When pressure tried to break me, it made me whole. Even when the lights go dim, I stand on who I am. Cause what? A champion. I've been tired in ways that sleep can't repair. Still showed up sharp and still prepared. I don't brag pain, but I honor the grind. That every scar proof that I crossed that line. That I don't fear defeat, I respect the lesson. Wins feel better when you paid attention. I stayed locked in when it wasn't fun. That's how you finish up what you begun. And I don't need belts, trophies, or applause. My confidence in turn to unbroken laws. I've been doubted, dismissed, or overlooked. Still rewrote futures, that's the way I look. A champion ain't just wins on the board. It's how you respond when your life ignore you. How you stand when the crowd get long. How you keep your faith when the crowd go gone. I don't quit when it hurt, I adapt. That's the difference between me and you and the things that you lack. I learn endurance and louder than speed. I slow grind steady. I how the legends breathe. That I don't fake strength, I built it for real. Every rep mental and every thought steel. I stay silent when temptation came and didn't sell my soul just to speak the lane. No, 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 no. Where the dreamers up spark, where the lies stay woke. I don't bend to the noise, I just shift from fear. I can stand in the void through these sing things clear. I got wisdom in my bones, so my life too raw. Turn that loss to map and turn the pain to love. They mistake my karma for a man on ease, but I'm the storm they see when the smoke won't breeze. I walk quiet, but I compute outrage insane. Got the galaxy of plans running through my brain. Nothing wild, but the heights that I climb to me. I just live with the line where the clouds all speak. I've been walking through the future, the mind on blaze. Every thought turned real like a road through phase. I don't follow the rules, I rewrite those ways. Cause the blood in my veins with the neon rays. Hey, what? That nigga crazy. That nigga, yeah. And I've been breaking down the mold like a glitch gone right. Where the eyes drop low, where I step in sight. I can see a whole world in a spark one frame. Turn a simple idea into a kingdom claim. Wait, got it glow on my chest, they can't trace or clone. A design so weird, they can't stand alone. Every child that I face just refine my steel. Put a vulture in my voice, you can't hear no fear. No. I don't fear no man, I don't fear that fall, oh no. And I was built from the ground, I was bred for the cold, no. I've been brave, I don't pray for a win, I can trust that way. Now what you say, you hate it, what? And I've been walking through the future with a mind on blaze. And every thought turn real like it broke through face. I don't follow the rules, I rewrite those ways. Cause the blood in my veins built like neon rays. And what? Now I'm floating through the world that I shape from grit. Where where the dark turn few and in the pain turn feet. Every doubt they grew once to the gem I hold, and every door they lock now, what throne I mold. I don't flex, I evolve, and I don't stunt, I rise. I'm the code they fear, I'm the system of lies. And I'm the quiet in the storm, and I'm sparking in the steel. I'm about what's real. I'm the proof of the soul that's about 10 trials and what they say I kill. What? My old self to get villain and shit. I came back from the villain like I was a villain and shit. But really, he just a hero. Let me tell my story. Tell you how man getting knowing the glory. How he gonna be the king? He said that thing, so he was 16. See how I bring my game, yeah. I'm the proof of the soul, survived 10 trials. But we built this life from a wreckage of past. Got a fire in my blood that won't fade or sway. Cause in the air, my veins don't dim, mistakes. Wait. Woke up today like I dreamt this before. The same press screen light on the bedroom floor. Same coffee going cold, same song gon' play. Same thoughts in my mind I had yesterday. Walked outside, same car, it was at this curb. A neighbor nod once with the same old word. I could swear I rehearsed every step I took. Life, my life on repeat with a copy look. At work, boss talking a speech I know. I sat through this meeting some months ago. Co-workers laugh at the same weak line, and I just smirk like I'm caught in a scripted time. I check my phone, headlines grow, markets crash, then they rise, same highs, same lows. Politicians fight with recycled views. It's the same old debate, dressed in different news. Relationships too, I've been down that path. I met someone brand new, but I knew they laughed. Same date, same vibe, and same old excuse. Then the same slow fade, and this deja vu. Even dreams of mine like the little tape. And see the street, I ain't walk, but it feels in shape. Like my soul been there, like I know that cue. But my body ain't moved in the deja vu. Maybe time don't run in a straight clean line. And maybe life just repeats through the lessons of mine. And maybe every new face is an echo true. But my lifelong gone, that it comes back through. Past lives were misfit in the choices I make. And same folk in the road for the chance to break. If I miss it again, it will come back too. Every test rerun in the deja vu. But there's hope in the loop. If you see it clear, you can break those chains when you sign the peer. So I laugh when the welfare stage, and I knew, cause I know I right through this whole deja vu. And who we get.
What's good? What's good? What's good? What is good? A lot of updates, a lot of good stuff. Been 9 days since I last streamed, so I've been doing a lot of work. Obviously, if I'm gone, that means I'm in the lab. That means I'm doing work. That means I'm putting shit in and getting it done. Pause. So yeah, a lot of work, a lot of stuff. But good news, bad news. Bad news. Steam wants us to complete the game a little more before full release, which I totally agree. Like ideally, I can just make it say demo mode or demo, and then they obviously will release it as a demo. But we're so close with all these newer features that it just makes sense to like take the weekend, do a bunch of new stuff, refine some of the UI, and then eventually just release the game. So have a lot of good features that I added. Last stream we were talking about having this like timeline feature where we can add videos and cutscenes and be able to attach gameplay to those cutscenes and then make your whole game like that. That is done. I also added something called Manifest Forge, which is basically a 3D model generator built inside the game. So you can literally generate 3D items from an image and have that running in your game in real time. I do got to add rigging to that. I didn't do that yet. I will do that over the next couple of days. I am doing some testing with these cinematics, but we're doing pretty good. I had to figure out a lot of things with cinematics, right? Because ideally, I want this to be able to use our own data center that I'm building, right? This decentralized data center. So for this to make sense, I had to figure out how can I make a video model smaller but keep the quality, which your boy figured it out. So that is done. Now it's just testing, making sure things aren't losing quality, making sure that every type of video that you may want to generate is actually happening, and also character placement, right? You want your particular characters to be in these scenes, not distorted, and be able to follow the storyline that you're trying to portray at the time, right? So that is everything that's going right now. We're doing pretty good, moving pretty fast. But I want to jump right into sharing the screen and going right into what's going on with Manifest. So just to go to this left side in this panel, I'm going to remove obviously subscription at the top. There's no more subscriptions. It's just going to be packs. So soon that will be gone over the weekend. All of these buttons I have to redo, and I'm going to redo the whole menu. So the whole menu is actually going to have a whole new look. Right now we can call this like admin mode, right? So just to make sure I know these features work. But once they all work, I'll polish them even more so they look even better for production. But ideally, yeah, home dashboard, pretty self-explanatory. Projects, pretty self-explanatory. It brings you back to your project screen, and you're able to, continue your project or uh go back to a project that you were doing already. So continue, right? Scene manager. So that is something I'm gonna do today. That's basically gonna help you put the scenes. So other than the timeline I'm about to show you, you'll be able to input those scenes in particular, like objects or gameplay or whatever it is that you want to add it to your particular game. Undo redo is something that I'm also adding. So that's something that we're gonna make it where the AI can keep a record of exactly where you were last time. And if you want to undo that change, it'll just undo it. Or if you want to redo it and you didn't really want to undo, and you want to go back to where you previously were, it'll do that. Save is obviously self explanatory. It will save the project in real time. It will save it based off of, if you just hit save, it'll just be a generic name. And if you hit save as, it will save it as the project name you want to name it as. Create edit menu. Haven't touched that screen at all yet. That is honestly going to be my last screen. And publish a Manifest Arcade will be the second to last. So I'll do that hopefully by Monday. If not, definitely by the end of the week. And we'll have that live as well. So literally when Steam comes out, you guys will be able to publish your games into the arcade and also do a bunch of things that I'm about to show you. So add object is something that I'm working on right now. I changed the screen. What I got to do now is basically have all the thumbnails of each object there so you know what you're looking at. These are just generic names right now because that's what it's named as, the object, but I'll make it where it makes sense to you. So if you hit characters, it won't just be BP artillery, it'll be like the name of a character. Like I'll just name it something so you guys know what it is. What else did I do? So Manifest Forge. This is a big one. It's a big one. I'm still testing it, but as you can see, like the menu is not that bad. I think it's not full blown production grade yet, but it is getting there. For Forge 3D from text, so you could literally type in what type of model you want from an input, or you could take an image, like I said before, and it will turn that image into a 3D model. And you can also texture it once it's done. So you can add whatever type of textures you want. You could tell the AI to create that texture and it will layer that texture on top of your 3D model. What else did I do? So environment settings, I have to still do time of day. I just made this a little nicer. So if you remember last time, it was just black and white. Now it has some color to it, and you can obviously hit the buttons and it'll change from night and day, right? So weather, same thing. Made this a little nicer. So now it's sunny, rain, fog, cloudy, storm, clear night, dust storm. All of these are active. So you can click them and literally be able to change the whole map into that type of weather you want. There's lighting presets. So this is the same thing, kind of like night and day, but you may want to make it a certain type of lighting depending on the gameplay at that time. So if, for example, if it's a war game and you want it to be more cinematic, you will just obviously hit the cinematic lighting preset and it will do that. But the cool thing is obviously the AI will do that for you as well, right? These are just manual options that you can do by just clicking them to add it manually. But the AI, as you're talking to it, can add that for you. What else? Terrain tools. So we talked about this prior. I didn't do that many changes to it, but you're able to, fix the road collision, smooth all terrain, enable complex collision, enable simple collision, rebuild a collision, or disable terrain collision, and of course reset the default and just remove all of it. Um, what else we got? Vehicle tools, full collision, simple collision, complex, overlap only, no collision, speedo. So that's going to be your speedometer, where you have digital, minimal, racing, speedo off, or of course reset the default. Then going into our character tools, I have to add more. There's actually a lot more that has to go into the character itself. So expect to see more options here. Expect this to change too. It's not going to look all bunched up because it kind of like it's a lot to look at. So I understand that. So I'm going to make sure it's like a little easier on a UI perspective for you guys to see what you can do and give more explanations. Like if you hover over it, it will explain a little more of what it's talking about rather than you having just to read this small description here that may not give you everything you need to know about that particular button. So that's that. AI actions kept this basic for now, but all of these are live. So you can create a blueprint, which Unreal developers, you guys know what that means. Basically, you create a blueprint for whatever type of object or character or any type of asset that's in the game and create it to do a particular function or look a certain way while you're creating the game. Fix errors, pretty self-explanatory. Any errors that are there, it will fix that. I do have this little problem with this like exit button, so you're gonna see that a lot on these new modals that I show you. But I'll fix that. So what else? We have generate environment. So this is where it gets cool. So not only can you generate 3D objects, but you can generate worlds from your photos, prompts, expand the current scene. So I can expand the scene of this current scene, that's this Asian village, and I can tell it like, hey, take this image and just add this, and it'll literally take the image and make a whole new scene out of it. You can match reference style, so you can tell it like, okay, keep the same style that's currently in the map, but add these things to it. So all of that's there. I call this Manifest World Forge. The Manifest Forge is for 3D assets, and obviously Manifest World Forge is for, generating your worlds. Then you have modify, which is important. So this is something I had to add recently, literally today, where you're able to now click a particular object. So if you see on the left over here, I have this selected. And now I'm able to say, okay, for the stairs that's selected, I can move it, I can rotate it, I can scale it up. So if I don't know if you saw that, but I just scaled it up a little bit. So now the stairs are a little bigger. I can scale it back down to 0.5 and I can keep playing with it to whatever size that I want to make it. All the colors also change. So if you want to make it red, blue, green, wood, stone, metal, neon, ruined, mossy, whatever, futuristic, fantasy, you can do all that. You can replace with a similar object. So that's basically going to take whatever assets are available in the game. It will replace it with, so let's say there's another set of stairs that are very similar, it will just replace it with that one. Or if you have assets that you generated using Manifest Forge and you generated your own stairs and it looks similar to this, or you just want to replace it with that, you can do that with this button. You can replace with theme variant, so that's the same theme, meaning like it's literally within the same asset class and it will take that exact object. You can toggle destructible, so meaning like think what's that game? Battlefield, where you can blow up buildings or, destroy objects. Like they're pretty well versed and pretty animated in their game with doing that. So you could do the same thing by actually modifying that particular object to do the same exact thing. You can toggle collectible, so you can make, let's say, an item you generated with Forge, and now say, okay, I want this to be a collectible. So when people are walking around the game, they're collecting that particular object as they're going along. And you can obviously toggle collision, which makes that particular object have more collision than, let's say, the rest of the map, because it just may be something different that you want to have. And then obviously you can just AI prompt it and it'll just apply whatever you're talking about by just using natural language. Then we have optimized scene. So this is cool because I know a lot of people are going to build games. You may run into some errors. And if you do, what you can do is you can analyze. So I left this map empty on purpose, as I always do in these demos and these episodes, because I want to show you how it can upgrade from basic all the way to full blown. So each episode, obviously, I'm getting closer and closer to doing that by showing you each feature that was added to get to that part. So analyzing a scene, for example, that's important because now what it's doing with the AI is actually seeing all the stuff that's in your scene currently, especially in the camera view, and showing you exactly what could be fixed. So I could say suggest fixes, and now it's telling me these are repeated. So I might have many of these type of things that can be fixed, or it can be rendered in a certain way that just makes the gameplay more smoother. And I can also apply the fixes, which now it applied 600 changes to my map automatically, right? Then you can do chat with Manifest AI. So chat with Manifest AI is something that I'm still working on. Obviously, it doesn't look the best right now. I'm trying to make this look like more like a Chat GPT or like a Claude AI type of dashboard where you can literally just chat with AI. So imagine chatting with Chat GPT, but it's game building. So you can not only brainstorm with this AI, but actually have it build in real time too, which is important. So you may come up with an idea with the AI and then the AI will go build it, which is cool. So it's functional, it's just not the best looking. So we'll get that better looking over the weekend. Then I have save prompts. So this is something I'm gonna add over the weekend as well. It's not functional yet, but it's basically gonna be a bunch of prompts that are like templates. Think of it like that, like recipes of success for a type of game that you may want. So, for example, if you're trying to build like a Resident Evil or zombie type game, I will have a recipe in there where you could just click it and then it'll just build it out. So then you can have something to start with rather than starting from a blank map or one of the templates that we provide. So that's what the recipes will be. Then auto build, auto fix, that's also something I'm adding as well, which will just auto build, let's say this right now, all the different meshes that need to be added, all the different scene stuff that need to be added as well. It'll auto build that. I may add this too, where it may be able to auto generate scene like cutscenes for you, but I gotta be careful with that because cutscenes obviously cost coins, and I want to make sure you guys understand how much coins you're spending at the time of doing that. So I gotta create parameters around that particular thing before I can make that feature live. So expect a week for that cutscene automatic, but definitely for the map building and game mechanics, that all will be auto fix and auto build. Then we have what the hell is the manifest cinematics? Is that gone? I don't see it. I think I got rid of my thing. Oh no, it's right here. I'm bugging out. So, so I gotta change the name. I meant to change it. So cutscene editor is really Manifest Cinematics. What this is pretty cool. So I can see my clip here that I generate. So if I put a prompt in and say, okay, generate this, it'll show me the preview. If I like it, I can add it to the timeline, which is here in this track, and I can tell it particular things like, okay, here's a cutscene that I want to generate. Here's some gameplay that I want to add. Here's a transition between that, so I can move this transition over here and say, okay, if this cutscene plays, transition into this gameplay. So now that the gameplay will go on, but the cutscene will be watched first. You can obviously make it skippable, non-skippable. That's up to you on how you want to make your game. I do advise to make it skippable because not everybody's gonna always want to watch your storyline. You know, some people do, but some people don't. So you just got to keep in mind on that. But that's up to you on how you want to make it. We're not giving any strict parameters there. You can create your videos from a photo. So you could take a photo as a reference and then have that photo be there. And then obviously add the character placement within that by telling it the scene description. So you're saying the character is going to walk forward, for example, turns and smiles at the camera, and then the AI will generate that video. Transition is basically explaining it, so you're explaining how it should be transitioned, and then this is the model here, manifest cinematics, and you could choose how many seconds you want to make that. So you can make it 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 8 seconds, or 10 seconds. It's up to you. We are using a pretty strong model for this, so expect the generations to be pretty good, but expect them, depending on what computer you're using, to be slower or faster, right? Like, we are looking for GPUs. If you don't have GPU access, then potentially it won't work the best, but it really depends on what's going on with your computer at that time. Give me 1 second. I don't even see my thing. Hold on. So yeah, that's basically how that works. And you go into manifest cinematics. Again, you just choose the seconds you want. Reference image. Again, you could put the path of the image there. So if you have like an image from a website, you could grab the URL from that, and the model will pull that image and then generate the video from there. Then you have a lot more, but cutscene manager is something that, well, manifest cinematics is something that I think is going to be a huge feature because, like I said before, it's giving you the ability to tell a story within your game, right? Like that's very important. So then now to be able to do that within this game builder, it's amazing, right? Because now you can literally just have exactly what you want using the AI by chatting with Manifest AI, or if you already have your idea of the game, you can have that whole game be created by doing that. And also within cinematics, it does a couple things, right? Like it doesn't just generate the video, but it has what's called a director mode. So director mode is actually directing for you on how the scenes and gameplay should be added, and it will suggest how you can transition, right? So imagine having this AI director, like if you were making a movie, for example, telling you exactly how the camera should look at the different characters or the scenes that you're creating. So it's not just generating the video, but it's understanding the game you're trying to build and then building the right video and gameplay around that ideology of what you're trying to do. So that's basically what I'm creating here with Manifest Cinematics. It's not just a video generator like VO3 or Soar, for example. It is giving you this director mode to help you really create this cinematic game as you're doing it, right? Especially if you have a game that has realism in it, you want it to have the best camera angles as possible, especially if you have like damage on a character, or the character is stressed out in a certain way, or emotion needs to be in there. The director mode will make sure that that emotion or damage, or let's say sweat, for example, is sitting on that character and is showing it in certain ways so you can really feel the story as you're watching it. So very important feature, something that I worked very long for, but it took about 5 days, maybe a little longer, but it is done. Doing some testing. Next stream will generate a bunch of videos. What I'll do on the next stream for sure is to go through cutscene gameplay transition. We'll do just one of those as like a sequence to show you how it generates the model, it generates the video, then how it goes into the gameplay mechanics, and then how it does that transition as well. So you guys can see exactly how to do that, and you'll be able to do it from yourself from there. Again, if you're on our Discord, you'll have access to this today. So if you're in there and you want to play the game and try it out, just join the Discord and message me, and I'll send you how to download the game, whether you're on iOS or you're on Windows. So that will be available for everybody in Discord, but for the ones on Steam, you may have to wait another week for me to at least clean this up, make it better, so it's Steam quality. So they're happy with how the game is actually going, and then they'll release it. So we're getting close, but got to do some work on the fine tuning of the game overall. But we're doing good. We're doing really good. I mean, it's going faster and faster every day, and it's getting more and more polished every day. So proud of myself for at least getting this far to what's going on here. Again, plans and subscriptions, that's going to be gone. So even though it says plan free here, that will be gone. There is no plans. Everybody has the same access to everything. The difference is just how much coins you have and how much you're spending. Coins are not going to be expensive. They're gonna to purchase, they're gonna be a certain price, obviously, but to spend those coins, we're not gonna charge a lot. I mean, it's gonna probably be max 10 coins as an action, depending on what you're doing, and that might be the cutscene stuff when you're using director mode, but I don't see it going anything higher than that. So even with your 200 free coins that you get, you'll be able to do a lot, at least generate a full game, and then once you're happy with that game, you may want to make a second one, but now you ran out of coins and now you have to buy a coin. But you do have your first game that could be monetizable depending on how Steam allows us to do that. If it's off Steam, we'll have our own way of monetizing that. We just got to figure it out so we don't upset them, obviously. But ideally, we do want you guys to be able to monetize your game and not just have free games that are all over the marketplace that people are playing and you're just giving out a free game for your time, right? So I want you to be able to spend, but also make money from this as well because of the game you built, and it could be really good that people goes viral, for example, and people love it and they want to keep playing it, right? So think you deserve to be able to monetize that. So I will figure that out for you guys as it goes along, but just gotta bear with me a little bit to work on these features to make sure they're really polished, and then I gotta go through again like the fine tuning of the whole UI overall to make that polished so it just looks really good. Everything looks like amazing, and then yeah, you can just generate whatever you want from there. So there's a few more buttons I gotta make active, like invite collaborators, which I'll do over the weekend as well. That's basically going to allow you to have another player come in with you, and then you'll be able to generate the games with them where one person could be working on one side game, the other person's working on the other. For example, you may have someone as the cutscene generator, and then you might have the other person as the gameplay mechanics, and you guys are working together with the AI to generate this game, which will, if you work together, it could go a lot faster depending on the game you're building, right? If you're building a large game, then you may want some collaborators to come in to help you do that. Shared projects, that's obviously projects you can share with your team. So you'll be able to share like a project you may have started, like this one, for example, and be able to have them actually do that as well. Permissions and roles, that's basically, pretty self explanatory where you're giving, let's say, admin access to someone where they can literally destroy or delete things on your behalf, or you can have it where they may only able to add stuff to the game, so you can really make some strict rules on how you want your game to be controlled by others. Version history, so that's going to save automatically for you. So we will have an auto save feature in this that will basically auto save every single thing that you've done, and you can go back to the version. So for example, you gave someone admin access, they came in, they deleted everything by mistake, right? Not a bad thing because you can obviously go back a version and it should load up everything you did previously. So even if that worst case scenario happened, you're still good as long as the version history is working, which is on me to get that working. Comments and notes, pretty self-explanatory. You can leave comments on particular objects where you are trying to make something work and this is not working, and the other person may be better at manifest than you, and they can see your comment or they can see your notes, or you can even leave notes on what you want to do next, and be creative on how you want to use that feature. So those are the last of the stuff that I got to add for collaboration. But once that's done, I mean, this whole menu is done, and once the menu's done, the game's done. So that's how close I am. It's really just, fine tuning the cutscene stuff, adding more gameplay mechanics. And then once you start seeing the gameplay mechanics and the cutscene together, I think you guys will see how these games can be generated and how easy it can be once you understand how to use the tool. So we're right there. We're almost there. We just got to keep pushing. But we're not too far off success of this game. So just got to keep moving. But other than that, we're doing good. We're doing real good. Like I can't complain. I just gotta keep pushing, keep putting the work in on this game to make sure that we got something sick, legit, and people love it, right? So right there, and I appreciate even what Steam said to like make the game more fuller, make it more playable in a lot of ways, which I even said that openly in the last few streams, right? Like I don't want to technically be in demo mode. I'd rather be in beta mode, and we're a lot closer to being full blown beta. With this whole new features with Manifest Cinematics, Manifest Forge, and Manifest World Forge. All of those, and I might change that name because too many Forge, so I might change the World Builder into something else. Maybe it'll just be World Builder to make it like a little different, so it's not like confusing of which Forge are you using, because obviously like 3D and World Generation are two different things. Even though, to be honest, like it's using similar models, right? Like when you're building a world, it is using that 3D world builder or model object 3D, whatever you want to call it. But it's just more complete, right? So instead of generating one object, it's generating a sequence of objects all in one to make sure your map is full. And then obviously rigging those objects depending on what you're doing. So if you're saying, okay, there's a street and it has all these cars, and your game's like a open world type Grand Theft Auto thing, you want those cars to be drivable, right? So it has to generate all the cars, put them on the street, also generate the street, and then make it drivable using the mechanics that are built inside the game. So now you can say, okay, all these lines of cars are drivable, and I can do that by just putting in a prompt. So that's the goal. That's what I'm gonna be working on all weekend to get this solid, and then My next stream, we're gonna go through demos on how all this shit works. Going through it just all the way through to show you exactly how to do everything. It's gonna be a longer stream. This is gonna be probably my last quick stream, cause the next few ones I gotta go into each one of these features in detail and just talk about, okay, how do you do it, and use these videos coming up as a how to, right? Instead of what was done, it will now be, okay, how do I use it? And how do I get this done? How do I make my Resident Evil or my GTA or my NBA type of game, right? So that's what we're going to be doing in the next few streams. So if you haven't followed me, definitely do that, because these next few are going to be groundbreaking on how game can be generated and how AI can now finally be in the gaming industry other than just world building, right? So it's gonna be cool, man. We're gonna get some things done. We're gonna keep going, but in the meantime, I'm gonna get back to work. I just want to do a quick stream to tell you guys where I was at, what was built, where I'm going, and what's coming up next. So I think we accomplished that in the stream. I don't think there's that much more to say. So as always, in between time, keep being you, keep smiling. I'll be back soon. Hopefully within the next couple of days with another update of now, okay, we're ready to start showing a game at work. So expect that for my next stream, and I'll be back soon. All right, peace.